Roland Mumford with Mumford.law. Last night we did a video about an issue of a Georgia County sheriff, a former sheriff that is, that had used restraint chairs as punishment in punitive measures rather than for the purpose of protecting the inmate from danger to himself or others working in the jail. And that video has gotten quite a bit of attention and it's doing pretty well. So today I wanted to kind of do more of a global video about the use of restraint chairs and show two particular examples in news reports where one involved a neurodivergent child, an autistic child or a teenager, where he had been in the jail and he was having a manifestation of a disability. He had been overstimulated and he was literally banging his head against the door of the jail cell, and he ended up dying 3 days later. Well, rather than the law enforcement doing what they were supposed to do and bring in a crisis coordinator or an appropriate medical professional immediately, they ended up doing so a little bit later. But they said, well, let's just put him in a restraint chair and leave him there for hours before calling medical help. He ended up dying 3 days later. I'm the father of an autistic child, and I've represented autistic children that have been in that kind of situation. The other example we're going to show is a news report involving kind of a general situation, an inmate who had, all he did was apparently hit the glass of the jail cell door, and then the sheriff's department or the police department there, they sort of get their, look like a gang riot unit or something, but they get all armed up. They start to approach, and he just immediately stopped, became calm, and that was the end of it. Well, they still went in and then put him in a restraint chair for the purposes of punishment, and again, not for the purposes of avoiding danger to himself and that of others. And so we're gonna take a look at that. Then after that, I'm going to show a training video involving how a restraint chair is to be used. There's a video that I found on YouTube that will provide a lesson and a tutorial on how law enforcement is supposed to be properly using these chairs. And so let's talk about that. But before we show that first news video, I want to talk a little bit about sort of globally the issues of restraint chairs. Are they a safety tool or are they a risk of abuse? Now, restraint chairs, some see them as a tool necessary for officer and inmate safety, but others see them as a device open to abuse and excessive force. And today I want to take a closer look again at what restraint chairs, why they're used, and the ongoing debate about their role in law enforcement and correctional settings. Now, a restraint chair is a device used in jails, prisons, and some police facilities to secure a person who is considered a danger to themselves or others. But unlike handcuffs or leg shackles alone, restraint chairs immobilize much of the body to prevent kicking, spitting, self-harm,